Chris Bukowski of Emerging Civil War behind the camera, and in front of the camera, we're talking with Mike Bunn, director of Historic Blakeley State Park. And Mike, we're on a piece of property that is near but not part of the main park. Tell us where we're at.
Yeah, we're just about 1.5 miles north of the main park entrance gate on a 400-acre tract of land that this Historic Blakeley Foundation owns. And on this land, this is a part of the battlefield. It's a little separated from the main park entrance, but this is where the USCT, United States Colored Troop regiments that took part in the siege and the assault of Fort Blakeley were positioned. So here you get to see all three parallels in the connecting trenches that they dug under fire and from where they launched their assault on Fort Blakeley. This is a big battlefield, and this is the first time that we could actually get people to literally the ground on which these people were. As I mentioned, it's separated from the park. We had no facilities here, no gate, no restrooms, no trails, and this is the first time we've been able to open the trails, get people to a portion of where they were. Right now we've got about 1.5 miles of a trail system, interpretive panels, audio tour, and of course a printed map with some information. But this is the first time we can get people here. It just opened up a few months ago, and we're really excited to have it be as an addition to the park.
These troops were part of Frederick Steele's Pensacola column, which came over from Florida to join up with Edward Canby's troops that came up from Fort Morgan. Tell us a little bit about the troops that were actually here, and how were they involved, and what did they do in the battle? Well,
you've got a column, as you mentioned, that came out of Pensacola. There about 4,000 or 5,000 of these guys were USCT troops, and these were former slaves who had joined the Federal Army prior to their involvement here. So these are guys that mainly were enrolled in Louisiana and Mississippi, and they had been positioned at various places and sent here. And this is the first time that a lot of them actually participated in any open combat. Now, some had some other skirmishes, etc., but this is the first real battle for a lot of these particular contingents. And their role was to anchor the northern portion of the Federal line, which was confronting redoubts 1, 2, and 3 on the Confederate line. So that's the sector of the battlefield that they're involved in, and that is where they're going to be focusing and exchanging fire with the Confederates there, and that's the portion of the line that they're going to assault in the final charge.
They actually get out ahead of time a little early. Tell us a little bit about that, and how does that tie into the final charge?
Well, on the morning of April 9th, 1865, of course, the battle took place at 5:30 p.m. when the general assault was ordered. But early in the afternoon, their officers ordered them, a portion of the troops here on the very northern portion of the line, to conduct a little reconnaissance to see what the Confederates were doing, because they could see some activity in the river, and they wanted to make sure that the Confederates were not planning for some sort of escape from Fort Blakeley the way they did at Spanish Fort. And while they're doing that, they get involved in a firefight with a very northern end of the Confederate line, and due to the nature of the terrain, they realized they couldn't easily extricate themselves from that situation without coming under really brutal fire. So they kind of got tied down, were exchanging fire. Later that afternoon, they see the general assault is underway. They never got the official order in hand, but they could see what was happening, saw all their comrades and out to the left making a general assault, and they just joined in. And so the very northern portion of the line where these guys were participated in the assault, but it was after they saw what was happening elsewhere.
Mike, this whole park is just a fantastic gem, and congratulations on this latest acquisition.
Thank you very much for visiting.